Well, welcome back to the channel, guys. We have got a tasty one for you tonight. So with Blood of Baal coming out and me playing Blood Angels, of course, gonna bring them out with their new book with all the fun toys. We're playing a 2,000 point chapter approved 2019 mission today. So no further ado, tonight I have got Seb with me. Say hello, Seb.
Hello.
So Seb has brought his flesh terrors, so we're going to see who is the better son of Sanguinius overall. And we're playing on our usual 6x4, so we've already set up the map. The deployment will be Dawn of War, and I will be defending, and Seb is attacking under the new match play rules. The mission we're playing is Lockdown. So Lockdown is a bit different, where we'll be removing one objective per turn all the way through the game, leaving just one on the board at the end, which will be pretty hectic to fight over. But okay, so we're going to move on to armies and see what we both brought today and see what's going on. Alright, so today, for my 2,000 point list, I've brought a battalion, a spearhead, and a vanguard. So leading up my battalion, I've brought my trusty old Slam captain. I have got 10 command points to begin with. I've already spent 1, so I'm down to 9 for Death Visions of Sanguinius to make him Death Company, and just gives him the extra attack and the Feel No Pain, which can be quite pivotal sometimes. Doubling that up, also one of the new boys on the block with the points changes, so I have brought a Sanguinary Priest. First real time using one, because I've owned him for ages, but he's never really been useful until now, so that'll be interesting to see how he performs with the jump pack. Rest of the HQs, got the big man himself. Now he's had all the buffs with all the extra prayers. So I have brought Astarath. His 3 prayers are going to be... So yeah, his 3 prayers are... The first one is Exaltation of Hate, which gives me the extra attacks on 6s. And then I have Canticles of Hate with a +2 to charge, because with Blood Angels that's absolutely mental. And then Litanies of Hate, which is a reroll failed hits, which again replaces what I used to use Lamatis for, but it does make my Death Company fearless for bringing them along. And then I've brought my trusty old Sanguinor. No real changes. He's still just got his +1 to the attack and buffs everyone around him. Does make him good for all the combat, hopefully. Making up the rest of my battalion, my 3 troop choices. I've got 8 intercessors with the new doctrines. They're actually quite strong now. They used to be strong before, but they're even stronger. And then some sniper scouts, just standard camo cloaks, sniper rifles, nothing big upgraded for them. And then a 6-man tactical squad with 1 heavy bolter, just for the extra little bit of punch. Filling out some of my elite choices, I've got Sanguinary Guard, so just got 5 of them, 2 with axes, the rest with swords. And then Death Company, brought 8 Death Company, 2 with power swords, 1 with a thunder hammer. And playing around with numbers, don't want to run something too big just yet. Do want to potentially run 15 at one point, and that'll just be crazy, as the attacks will fly out. Making up my heavy support, I've got some Hellblasters, bog standard Hellblasters, just 5 of them, pumping out the good old plasma. Some Eliminators, because now we have official points for them, and they actually exist in our codex. And then bringing up the big guns, I've got a Bow Predator. Unfortunately, he's not WYSIWYG. He is running twin heavy bolters on the sides, not the twin flamers. And then Death Company Dreadnought, as he is just a barrel of laughs. And then 2 relic items. So I have brought my relic Sakaran with me, just to make up the points and see how the doctrines affects him with the heavy shots. And a Dreo Dreadnought, bog standard autocannons and missile launchers. Normally there's nothing flying around, so I won't, well, no jump packs whatsoever, so I won't get the +1 to hitting them.
Okay, so now you've seen Tom's army. This is my Flesh Terrors brigade. So since he was taking the Death Company and he was trying out all the special characters for his, I decided to skip the Death Company of mine, but I did bring my special characters. So I've got Gabriel Seth leading my army. He's got a brand new warlord trait from Blood of Baal, so he is going to get extra attacks for every 5 enemies within range of him. And then, like Tom, I brought a Sanguinary Priest, and I'm going to give him a Relic Chainsword, also from the Blood of Baal. So he's going to get D3 additional attacks, and he gets an extra strength and some AP with that, so that's going to be nice. Combining that with the Flesh Terror's extra AP I'm going to get on my 6s to wound, that's my equivalent to Red Thirst, whereas Tom is going to get +1 to charge. Then I've got a Lieutenant. This is my 3rd HQ in the brigade, and he has a Power Fist and Mastercrafted Bolter, no upgrades. I'm going to spend a couple of CP at the beginning. I'm going to hand out another relic, so I get my CP back on a 5 if I need them. And I'm going to make the Sanguinius Priest a Warlord as well, so he will get additional hits when he rolls a 6 to hit in combat, which takes me from 15 down to 13 command points to start the game. It says 12. 13. So, in a brigade, you have to take 6 troops. So I have brought 6 troops. I have got a scout squad with all sniper rifles, a scout squad with 1 heavy bolter, and a scout squad with 1 heavy bolter. And then over here, I have a 5-man tactical squad. The sergeant on the right there is hiding a flame pistol, hand flamer you can't see, because I had 1 point spare. Then I have a squad with a las cannon, and then a 3rd tactical squad with a las cannon. Behind them are my elite choices. On the left, a dreadnought, regular dreadnought, with twin las cannon and missile launcher, and then 2 Furioso dreadnoughts. So these guys have got the smoke launchers, not the grapnel launchers. They both have talons to save some points. They're still absolutely deadly, and both are rocking a melter gun and a heavy flamer. In the heavy support choices, I have a Vindicator, now with D6 shots. Still not the best tank maybe, but I didn't want to spam regular Predators or Baal Predators today, so I went for some variety. And then a regular Predator with 4 las cannons and a Hunter Killer. And then I also have a Baal Predator. This is WYSIWYG. All heavy bolters, twin assault cannon, and a storm bolter on the top. And also a Land Raider Crusader, also with a storm bolter on top, otherwise very stock standard. And then the 3 fast attack choices for my brigade are a 10-man assault squad, some nice Flesh Terror chain axes there, like they like, and a power axe on the sergeant, 2 flamers in the back, the guy's pointing, and then 2 attack bikes, because there are no cheaper fast attack choices in the game. One with a heavy bolter and one with a multi-melter. I don't know whether or not that will matter, but it'll be nice to fire a multi-melter and see what happens. Now they're AP 5 on turn 1.
That's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
And that is it. That's 2k of Flesh Terrors versus 2k of Blood Angels.
Alright, so we're fully deployed. Seb's just going to go through his deployment because he's done some pretty nasty things ready to come flying at me first turn unless I seize. So what are your thoughts then, Seb?
So as the attacker, and because of the way the mission works, I get to pick which objective is going to stay on the table the whole time. And I get to probably get the first turn unless I get seized upon. So deploying first as well, I've obviously put scouts really long way forward in a couple of places. Top of the building in the centre and behind the building there. And then by this crater outside of 9 of Tom's deployment, ready to try and take this on turn 1. Because we score at the end of our own turns. And if he has to come out and deal with some scouts, he's maybe not dealing with something else. And then in my deployment, I've got tactical squad holding an objective. Got attack bike, you can come out, because I thought there might be some tanks over here. So I moved the multi-melter to this side. My Land Raider has 16 models in it total. It's got the 5-man tactical squad to keep them safe, maybe get them on an objective later. 10-man assault squad and a priest. That's some real combat punch. And then one of the dreadnoughts, the Vindicator, all my las cannons together, and another dreadnought. And then my 2 buff characters are there as well to give them what they need. And then my Baal Predator on the flank here. And then over here, got to move up to get this one with these TAC Marines, but I will by the end of my first turn. And then an attack bike on the flank. I obviously didn't know where Tom was going to go, but they've got some fairly good firepower. But the scouts to push back Tom's infiltrators that he's got with the eliminators in his own sniper scouts.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Cool. So we're going to move on to what I've done. So with my deployment, played it a bit safer, knowing that there's a lot of heavy weapons coming my way if I don't seize. So of course, put eliminators in the building because I'll get really good cover for that. Intercessors behind a barricade, so it's getting cover save in case that Baal Predator decides to open up. Try to hide things like my tanks, so like my Death Company Dread and my Baal. Just trying to hide them a little bit. Nothing too excessive, but just try and give them a bit of cover. I've hidden my Dreadnought, my Hellblasters, and obscured my Sakaran because it's so big.
The Sakaran I am going to be able to see if I want to.
Yeah, but you're always going to wherever I deploy it.
The Dorado and the Hellblasters are well hidden, and I obviously don't want to get shot by Hellblasters.
No. And my scouts are hiding in a building just to give them a bit of range with their sniper rifles. And my Slam Captain's hiding all the way back here. He's already on the board.
Ready to upon wings of fire.
Yeah, but he is well hidden, so he's not going to hopefully get shot by anything. He might get snipers, but see if you can see him.
So I would like to go first. So
I'm going to try and seize. Nope. So Seb will have first turn. So we're going to move into Seb's first turn and see what he's got up to.
As soon as we have done the objectives, we will come back with which ones are numbered and the movement. So then deployment is done. Movement is finished. So the Flesh Terrors have been really aggressive. This game we score these objectives at the end of our own turn. So I have tried to get on as many as I can. First of all though, we determine which objective is which. So this one here is objective 1. I got to pick that. And Tom selected objective 6, which is this one in the crater that my scouts have moved up onto. So this one will disappear at the end of turn 6. And then we randomise the rest. So the one on my side here is 3. This will be gone at the end of turn 3. Number 5 is in the centre, so it'll be gone at the end of turn 5. And 2 over here, this will be gone at the end of turn 2. And then the final one in the final corner, and everyone over here, objective 4, that'll be gone at the end of turn 4. But objective 1 doesn't go away, as far as I'm aware with these rules. I've seen it played slightly differently already. This is a very new mission and everyone's learning it. But it's at the end of the battle round after the first, the one with the corresponding number to the battle round goes away. So that's why I picked the one on my side to be 1. I get to keep it for the whole game. And then, what did I do in the movement? Well, this attack bike came speeding over here. I feel like I don't need him on the flank, so he's going to maybe come and try and do some deep strike denial for me in the centre or on the left. In the middle, my buff characters moved up to give their auras to the tanks. Some of them have moved, some of them haven't. The Crusader, which has got my 16 guys in it, has moved up here with the multi-melter attack bike. Also some screening, I might need that next turn. There's another Dreadnought there. Both the Furiosos advanced, and this is, I think, the only thing that stood still. On this flank, the Last Cannon team, and then the Last Cannon Dreadnought and Predator stood still this turn as well. No wizard phase for us in these games, so after movement we go straight into some shooting. So I've done some shooting, and I have some successes and some not as great stuff happen, but I did manage to take only a single wound off the eliminators over here. I decided that they were slightly more of a threat and they're slightly easier to kill intercessors, and that might have been a mistake. Unfortunately, none of the fire I put into the Baal Predator in the back here made a scratch, but Tom's right flank, my left, I've done some serious damage. So the Sakaran is gone. I got very lucky there. Used a CP to make sure it died. I think there's a Hellblaster dead in the back. I was able to see him with some scouts. I used Hellfire shells on them. I have a brigade, so I get to spend Hellfire shells every turn, basically. And did I kill a scout?
Nope.
I never kill any
Pretty
scouts.
much wiped out a tactical squad.
But tactical marines are so much easier to kill. Loads of firepower here, loads of anti-infantry firepower from the left flank. The Vindicator ended up firing at tactical marines. The las cannons in the back here performing brilliantly, so then the second lot of las cannons had nothing to shoot at. They killed some tactical marines. My sniper scouts have always been rubbish and never have done anything, and once again they've performed as I would expect. So, with no charges in my first turn, I mean I could have done some janky stuff, tried to get into the Baal Predator with some scouts. Could have done some janky stuff, tried to get into the Death Company Dreadnought, but I would have just given him movement and he'd have probably killed all my scouts doing it anyway. So no charges there. So that means that once we've done morale, which we've just got a little bit to mop up on Tom's right flank, that will be the end of the turn. And with first strike from the Sakharin, and then 4 objectives held by me, that means that I will be on 5 to Tom's 0, and he's got an uphill fight here until his deep strikers arrive. Finally, just before the end of my turn, I did in fact pop smoke on the 2 dreadnoughts who advanced. They're in the middle of the table now as sort of reactionary. They can go wherever I need them now. Let's see whether or not Tom can counter this ferocious turn 1.
Okay, so with my movement, yeah, not the best turn for me to have to try and do stuff, but I've had to do a lot more than I wanted to. So I brought my Duodreo out. He's come out into the open to give him some lines of fire. Same with the Hellblasters, because I need to eliminate some stuff. I've moved my Baal Predator into the middle, because then he's got some good lines of fire on different things, and keeps... well, make forces potentially sebs hand with one of those dreadnoughts. Might have to sacrifice him. Moved my Death Company Dread. He's moved his 8. With Magna Grapple, his charge would be 10 inches, so it goes down to 8. But with the +1 for Blood Angels, it's now a 7, which is kind of crazy to get into that Baal Predator if he does choose to do so. Move my Intercessors up because they need to start trying to get me some points. Eliminators have stood still because they're still capping, and my 1 tactical marine that survived his morale by 1 point is capping over here as well. So that will make good. So I'm going to do my shooting phase. I've left my Slam Captain where he should be, and he is not moving this turn. So I'm going to go into my shooting and see if I can retaliate nicely. Alrighty then, after some alright retaliation, not as good as I probably wanted, but it's not the end of the world. So starting on this side, managed to kill 1 tactical marine because he was in cover. Did pop the strat to make it that my intercessors hadn't moved, so I get the double shots as if in Bolter Discipline. Didn't really do anything. In here, the Baal Predator shot at some scouts in the crater. Managed to kill 1 and kill 1 over here because, you know, the jammy old cover saves. But MVP of the round, my Dreo Dreadnought, shot across, shot at Seb's lovely Dreadnought that didn't do anything last turn and completely obliterated it with autocannons. Then popped some missiles up here into scouts, did nothing. Heavy bolters cleared out a couple other guys. My Hellblasters, I had to CP a roll on making sure he didn't kill himself to do a whole 2 wounds to a good old Land Raider. Didn't really do much there, but I've managed to kill the Lieutenant with my Eliminators because I could see his banner. That's literally all I could see, and it was enough. We did both agree that it was allowed, so they did wipe him off quite nicely. We're going to go into charges and see if I can get my Dreadnought into combat, and hopefully it survives a ton of Overwatch and come back after all that's done. Alright, as you can see, unfortunately, it didn't go as planned. We did forget to shoot my Dreadnought, so we did just run back. He put some Storm Bolters into these guys and killed 1, and then melted at the Predator. Managed to do 1 wound, as you do. He failed his charge, so he didn't get in there, even with the CP reroll. Just rolled a 6. Still wasn't enough. We needed a bit more. Other than that, we have had one. We had morale, but they passed with flying colours because the scouts are loving being in a crater. So we're going to move on to Seb's turn 2 and see what carnage he can produce.
Right, so this is battle round 2 and turn 2 for the Flesh Terrors. As you've seen, I've moved up again quite aggressively. But before that, the end of battle round 1, we didn't lose any objectives, so we still have all 6 on the table, as far as I read the rules. And going into battle round 2, we both had doctrines, which is new for us as Blood Angels and Blood Angels successors. So we both switched to the tactical doctrine. That gets us closer to the assault doctrine, which is really tasty for us both. But also good for me. I've got lots of storm bolters. I've got lots of hurricane bolters. Got plenty of bolt guns. So the extra AP is going to be good. You don't really need the AP -4 on the las cannons. And my main las cannon target coming up in the shooting phase is going to be the Dorado Dreadnought. So Gabriel's death is still in range of these two predators, and neither of them moved. This attack bike here is continuing on his merry way over to my left flank, which is where most of the late game objectives are going to be. 5's in the dead center, 6 is in this crater, and 4 is over here. So actually it's quite interesting because I could theoretically take this one from Tom this turn with these scouts if I get lucky. But I would be wary that he could heroically intervene into my scouts with 4 Hellblasters and kill them. So I might not risk that, but he might not have the CP spare, so it might be worth it. And so going into the shooting phase, I'm still really worried about these deep strikers, but there's nothing I can do at the minute. There's definitely a space here on my left where they could come in, but if they have to fight a Land Raider in combat, then that's okay. That's a speed bump I'm happy for them to have to run over. The snipers over here I'm still a bit worried about, so Seth is behind the Baal Predator this time. Hopefully I can do some damage to them. And then my Furiosos have moved up. 1 to fight the Death Company Dreadnought, failed his charge. And 1 to fight the Baal Predator that Tom has on his side. Alright, I'm going to do some shooting and see what happens. So a bit of a lackluster turn for the Flesh Terrors. Not as much as I was hoping. I pushed up really aggressively to get into rapid fire range of the scouts. And then I changed my target priority to the Hellblasters and I killed 1. Vindicator did nothing, because Vindicators never do anything. Dorado took 4 wounds in total.
Yeah.
After a reroll, I got some las cannons and I rolled a double 1. Very unfortunate. So melter gun fire here, wounding the Baal Predator. You may as well shoot it when you got it. Over here, I should have advanced the attack bike. That would have been useful, because he can't see anything from where he is. And he'd be much better off as a deep strike denial a bit further across. In the middle, the scouts did some tiny damage. I fired Hellfire Shells again this turn, but I missed. The Dreadnought fired his multi-melter, did nothing, but he flamed the tank and did a couple of wounds, I think. I killed a couple of intercessors here with my Baal Predator. I rolled fairly okay. It's about what you'd expect. And I managed to kill an entire Eliminator and wounded his friend using my Bolter Discipline from here. Firing my las cannon and missing, those sort of things. So, it's now my charge phase. And I don't get the Blood Angels +1 to charge as a Flesh Terror. Woohoo! But I do get an additional AP on a 6 to wound, so it doesn't really matter with my Dreadnoughts, but later on that might come into effect. But I've got to make a couple of charges here. I'm going to go in against the Dreadnought. I'm going to go up against the Baal Predator, and I'm going to try a cheeky charge on this 1 Tactical Marine. If I make it, I'll be on the objective. And if I survive, I will hold the objective. But there are some intercessors close by, and Blood Angels can now heroically intervene up to 6. So we're going to roll some Overwatch, we're going to roll some dice, we're going to see if I can make these charges. Alright, so charging and combat are finished. My right flank, Tom's left flank, Furiosa Dreadnought killed a Death Company Dreadnought with ease, and then moved up and just pressured these intercessors. I could have probably piled into them properly, Wasn't sure if that's what I wanted to do when I started the combat phase, though, so then I was locked into not getting to them. In the middle, we've had some casualties to these scouts, because both Furiosos destroyed and blew up their targets, causing 2 mortal wounds to the intercessors, 2 to the scouts, and 2 to each dreadnought. So they're on 6 now, but they're feeling good. And then the really janky one over here. Tom chose not to heroically intervene, which would have sealed my scouts' fate. But they made their difficult charge through the barricade and into the tactical marine that's left there. And there was 2 of them, so they were holding the objective. But then they fought and didn't kill him. And then they got fought back on, and then one of them died. So now I'm not holding the objective. So I spent 3 command points, putting me down to
scouts.
putting me down to 5, because I used a reroll as well. For 1 scout sergeant with 3 attacks to try and kill a tactical marine, and he failed. So out of 8 attacks, I did nothing with Red Thirst. So that was really unfortunate, or my Red Thirst, whatever it's called, as a Flesh Terror. But yeah, I still got plenty of CP. That would obviously been a victory point for me there. That's why I did it. So we'll tot up victory points. We'll remove something at the end of the battle round, and then we will start Blood Angels turn 2 and
Oh, well, the pain's coming.
the Descent of Angels.
Alrighty then, so now's my time to shine. Now I can deep strike and everything. So I've moved my intercessors up, so within 15, because they have got the rapid fire. And in tactical, because I am now in tactical, because we get doctrines and we have to remember this sort of thing now, I could do quite a lot of damage, even with 3 of them. So we're going to see what I can do. I've left the 1 marine in combat, just for that 1 scout. I'm not too scared of the scout, especially after the way Seb's been rolling. Left my Dedrado stood still, so he doesn't get any penalties, so he's hitting on 2, so I might try and wipe some out. Over here, left my Eliminators stood still, moved my Intercessors up a little bit past this dread. Don't know what I'm going to do. This is going to kill whatever it engages, but I might try and shoot it. But my big first ball of death has arrived. So over here I have got my Death Company, Astrath, and I have spent 2 CP to drop my Slime Captain in as well. So he's only now 9 inches away from Gabriel Seth. So I might go pancake him in a second after my shooting. But we're going to move into my shooting and see if I can crack anything or cause any pain. Alright, so not some half bad shooting. Start over here. My Eliminators shot at the Tacticals, managed to take 2 down. Death Company shot into them as well, nothing happened. The Intercessors over here shot at the Dreadnought, managed to get it down to 4. And over here, my Dedrado shot at a Furioso Dreadnought, managed to kill it, put his missiles into 1 scout and killed him, and his heavy bolters into some sniper scouts, which did nothing. Over here, my Hellblasters, I overcharged them and blew 2 of them up, because that's what you do, to get the Land Raider down to 8 wounds, as you do. And my Sniper Scouts over here managed to kill 2 Tacticals. 1 Tactical Marine, I do apologise. Okay, so, going to go into my charges, because there's about to be some fun old shenanigans about to happen, and we'll come back after all that is done. Whew, what a turn of combat. So, Intercessors came in against the Dreads and took them down to 2 wounds, but then got marmalised in return. Over here, everybody got into where they were meant to go. Slime Captain got in against Seth, really hurt Seth, didn't kill him. Of course, then he retaliated and then got to fight again, so we killed my warlord, but then I spent 2 CP to make him fight again, and they finally pancaked each other. And
Seth had to roll a 6 to fight a second time. That's his special rule. When someone finishes fighting within 6 of Seth, on a 6, they get to fight again. And he did.
Yeah, and he
killed the Slam Captain. I had to spend 2 CP on transhuman physiology to not just be annihilated immediately. And I used a CP reroll to stay alive. So I'm down to 1 CP, and you had to fight on death, so you're down to 1 CP?
Yep, I'm down to 1 as well. My Death Company piled in and just annihilated the Baal Predator, and they've managed to surround the biker, so he can't go anywhere. So that's good, because it means they're not all going to die this turn. Well, none of them are going to die this turn. And the combat over in the other corner, my Hellblaster ran in, tried to punch a scout, and the scout laughed at him. And then my 1 Tactical Marine just tried to do the same. Nothing happened. Scout hit back. Nothing happened. And they're all just stood there chilling. And no one controls that point. So at the end of this turn, I'm on 5 and Seb is on
12.
12. Yeah, so still a very big uphill battle.
I got hold more twice, and I was holding 4 objectives twice, plus First Blood, plus Warlord. You now have Warlord as well, but you actually aren't controlling this objective.
No.
And then, at the end of turn 2, battle round 2, objective 2 disappears.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to Seb's turn 3 and see what is left after that.
Assault Doctrine.
Yeah, Assault Doctrine is now active. So it can get very interesting now, because I've still got some Deep Strikers. And there's probably some Assault Marines coming bursting out of a Land Raider. So we're going to see what happens and come back.
Battle round 3, Assault Doctrine active. Some movement happened. So the Baal Predator rocked up forwards. He basically had to get out the way of the Dreadnought, and I wasn't sure which way to go. Could have gone left, could have gone right, and I chose right. Let's see if that happens or not. Dreadnought here on 2 wounds. The last one has come charging this way. No point going after the Dorado. So he's just going to come in and try and deal with these guys. Obviously, they also won't get any Overwatch, because they're fighting the attack bike. The attack bike has been my biggest mistake of the game so far. Trying to switch which flank he was on seems like a good idea, but I let him get wrapped, and I didn't actually deep strike denial with him at all. He'd been better off either one side or the other of the Predator, not right next to it. This flank, the Vindicator stayed still. The Land Raider got into rapid fire range. The Scout fell back from combat. The Multi-Melter attack bike stayed where he was because he can just see the Dorado. And the last cannon team over here holding objective 3. This one will go away at the end of the battle round, but for now they're going to score me 1 more point, and they're going to fire some more last cannon shots, so it doesn't hurt. And I did, in fact, just after the end of the time lapse, move these scouts down. If they go get this by the end of turn 5, they can get me a point, so I should do that. That makes sense. Tom isn't going to drop Sanguinius Guard to kill 5 scouts. Alright, that is the end of my movement phase, so I'm going to shoot some stuff now, and we'll come back to you. Shooting phase complete. And I have to say, my best shooting phase since the first, I think. Which is weird because this is the third. So, the Vindicator suddenly did something.
Yeah, it came to life, finally.
So I think the trick with Vindicators is to leave them standing still so they hit on full BS. And then you roll 6 on the number of shots.
And they annihilate.
They do 11 damage to a Dorado and take it off the board. After the multi-misser and the last cannon did nothing. Then between the Scouts and the Land Raider, I managed to take out 1 Hellblaster in cover and 1 Tactical Marine in cover. The Tactical Marine was the tough one. Had to do a mortal wound with the snipers to kill him. And then over here, I managed, I don't know how, to take out the 2-up save in cover eliminator from the building there. But that is no longer an objective, but is also no longer a threat to me. So that is good. So I've got the Dreadnought here on 2, and we're heading into the charge phase. So there's no Overwatch here, so we'll figure that out. I'll charge in, hopefully, resolve that, and we'll be back to you. So the combat phase is over, and I'm not sure that was my smartest move, going in with the 2-wound Dreadnought. I think he took 6 wounds from a Thunderhammer and died, but he did kill 4 or 5 Death Company?
4.
4 Death Company, Tom says. 3 Chainswords and a Power Sword from that unit, so that's good. And then Astrath and the Power Sword killed the attack bike. So these 2 units are freed up in my backfield, and they have to choose whether or not they're going to go after some juicy targets. The Baal Predator that moved away, the Vindicator, the Land Raider. You've got to crack that at some point to get the goods inside. But we're going to go into Tom's turn 3. He still has another squad and 2 more characters in Deep Strike. It looks like there isn't much left on the table, but I have 2 squads and a character in my Land Raider on the side of the table with most of the late game objectives. 5 in the center, 6 in the crater, 4 in Tom's ruin there. So it's looking interesting, and points are going to be a big deal.
Adam Insult Doctrine. So now we get to play with all the fun toys.
So this is the turn 3 for the Blood Angels. We're in Assault Doctrine. We've got the extra attacks. There are some things we did. So Astrath prayed at the beginning of the battle round, and he'd failed his +2 to charge, but he did get everyone within 6 can reroll to hit. So that's why the 2 units are split up. They're not going to benefit from that +2. And then he used Mass Doom this turn.
Yeah.
So he rolled a 1 on Mass Doom. That's a once per game ability. And on a 1, the unit he picked suffer a mortal wound. So the Death Company took a mortal wound and then shrugged it off on a 6. So nothing happened, but Mass Doom should be good. It's supposed to be an extra add 1 to hit, or an invulnerable save and add 1 to hit. Yeah. Really unfortunate. The big brick arrived in here though. They're going for points. They're going for late game points in the center, trying to take me out. And now we're going into Tom's very short shooting phase, and we'll probably recap that maybe after we've finished charging.
Yeah, we'll do the whole phase.
Like we said, we'd come back. The shooting was over here. Snipers killed the scout, and then we did some charges and some Overwatch. No wounds in Overwatch. 2 up saves on the Sanguini Guard and the Sanguinor saving them. But Astrath, the Priest, and the Sanguinor are in combat, and it looks like they're going to be able to wrap this Land Raider and he won't be able to fall back. 3 of them is enough if they don't kill it. And if they do, 16 angry flesh terrors will burst out. I'll come back to you and see what happens. Exactly what we expected happened. The Land Raider is dead. The Sanguinor and the Priest fought first, and then Astrath killed it. It didn't explode. All 16 models got out, and then 3 tactical marines died disembarking.
Fell over.
And I deployed them too close to Astrath, so then he consolidated into them. And then they fought him and did nothing. But now there are 2 tactical marines in combat with Astrath, which is a huge mistake. But with the Rhino down, the Land Raider down, my devastating unit is out, and those Sanguini Guard look like they need to be chopped to bits, leaving Tom's 3 characters to do whatever he wants. But we'll see what happens. At the end of battle round 3, we're going to tot up the points, but this objective goes away after Tom has scored, and then we will see what happens in Flesh Terrors turn 4.
Towards the second.
Turn 4, Blood Angel, Flesh Terrors. I always get them confused. The Assault Marines have pushed up. This is my best chance of dealing with the Sanguini Guard. We did some prayers off camera, and the Tactical Marines fell back from combat here. They didn't want to get chewed to bits, although they have put themselves in heroic intervention range, so I might move that in a second. I don't want to get recharged, not in my turn. These 2 guys, I'm not really sure what to do about them, but the Baal Predator will shoot them. I've got these 2 guys holding this objective. They'll shoot them, and then I will do some small arms fire, and then some charges, and we'll come back and see what that looks like. Charges are complete, but there was a little bit of shooting first. Sanguinary Priest got evaporated. The Death Company here got evaporated. Well, they got marmalized, sorry. That's what we say on this channel, apparently. Tom does it. And then here, I got an 11-inch charge and a 10-inch charge. I needed like 4s. I don't get the +1 like Tom, but my difference is that I get 6s to wound or OP neg 1, which is going to be useful now because that's on top of, he says it does stack with the Assault Doctrines -1. So we're going to get some tasty combat here. I'm going to see if I can rip down the Sanguini Guard with my chain swords and chain axes. They're not actually chain axes, but flesh tearers use axes. And we'll see if I can take out those Sanguini Guard and see what happens. Combat over. After the assault marines advanced, they took the objective. At this point, the flesh tearers have a very large points lead. I killed all but one of the Sanguini Guard, and then one Sanguini Guard fought back and killed 3 assault marines. I'm very glad I was able to charge there. That was the trick. I was leaving him in the land raider for that exact purpose. But with one Sanguini Guard, one Sanguinor, and Ashtaroth, we might see how much they can mess up this turn, and then we might call it there at the end of Blood Angels turn 4. We'll see. So the Sniper Scouts in Tom's shooting phase managed to kill 3 guys here. That's the 666 for mortal wounds. At this point in the game, when it didn't matter, wiping them out. We rolled a little quick morale check for him. He's fine with the reroll. Ashtrath was standing here a minute ago, and then he got hit by a multi-misser in Overwatch. That's only the second time this game he's hit. And then he did 5 damage in Overwatch, killing Ashtaroth, who at the moment he had +1 attack from his own prayer. He had +1 attack because of Assault Doctrine. He had +1 attack because of charging.
Yep. And he would have had rerolled his hits.
Rerolled all his hits. He was an absolute monster. He probably could have ripped the Vindicator to bits this turn, but he was taken out by a multi-misser. And then over here, the Sanguinor went into the unit, as you would expect. No Overwatch there. We're going to roll this up. I'm going to lose a lot of Assault Marines.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so as you would expect, the Sanguinor butchered all the guys that were there. There are 2 left, and they have to take a morale check. They do actually manage to pass that. The Sanguini Guard killed some too, but then the Parax struck back and killed the last Sanguini Guard. And with that, and with the Sanguinor being the only model left that Tom has, good game.
Very good game.
Fantastic. It's nice to see the Flesh Terrors doing some cool stuff. We didn't see very much of the 6s to wound or an extra AP.
No.
But I wasn't in combat very much. And when I was, it was Dreadnoughts and things who already had really tasty AP. Me getting the charge there, that's the only reason I was able to win that fight. My 150-ish point unit versus a very expensive unit, Sanguine Guard, even with that discount. Same number of wounds. That was a tough one. Also, not very many Flesh Terrors left. 2 tanks, 5 tactical marines, and a bike. This was an absolute bloodbath, but the points are all in favour of the Flesh Terrors. What do you think of the new book?
It's fun. Definitely fun. Definitely some nice buffs, but still versus a shooty army. It's going to struggle.
Yeah, the chapter master and lieutenant surrounded by tanks. It's still brutal. I think that if you use some of these new Blood Angels with that +1 a charge, and then you souped in some even better shooting,
oh yeah,
I think you get some really fierce armies. The only thing you lose by souping the Blood Angels is an extra attack in the Assault Doctrine, and I don't think that matters as much as you might think. All the charges happen before that. You have to survive that long too. Thanks very much for watching, guys. If you'd like to follow the channel, we'd really appreciate that. Put out plenty of bat reps here at Warpstorm. And check out the Instagram. There's a bunch of other links down below as well. Thanks very much again, and we'll see you next time.